You guys are going to love this episode. I'm talking the real truth around opening your third eye, opening your pineal gland. You're going to want to listen to this whole episode because at first I'm going to be sharing with you different ways that you can do this. And then I'm going to share with you why I feel like there's an actual problem with this and what really needs to be done in order for this gland to open and function. So let's dive right in. The reason why I'm recording this podcast is I was just talking with someone and they were telling me that they were doing a guided meditation at night with the sound frequencies to help her open her pineal gland. And while I think that that's fantastic and she's doing what she believes she wants to do in order for this gland to become activated, and then I wanted to share with her why I feel like these different things, while they may help, they're actually not doing what it is that you're wanting to happen. So there's different things that you can do. You can listen to those sound frequencies at night. You can find them on YouTube. I've had people come to me that's had bad experiences with those, but I've also had people such as the person I was talking to today that falls asleep and has a good experience with that, maybe feels a little bit more clarity. I mean, some of these things aren't going to hurt. You do have to be a little bit careful if you're doing the sound frequencies. So make sure you get it from a trusted source and not necessarily just looking it up on YouTube, because the different frequencies they do mess with your different brain waves. And I've had people actually reach out to me who had like a really bad experience and woke up having nightmares and stuff. So you do need to be careful with those types of things. Also, just regular meditation is amazing. Regular meditation, I totally do recommend that you meditate at least 5 minutes every day, but more so at least 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That should get this part of your brain back here more activated, where you're going to be more apt to have a mystical experience when you go into meditation. Different foods, right? They always say eat the rainbow or your chakra system: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, right? Makes the rainbow bright. My daughter used to sing me that song. But if you're thinking about foods, you're going to want to be eating those types of foods. And if you're specifically focused on your pineal gland, then you're going to want to be eating more of like the lavender foods, right? Like purple grapes. Those types of hues of food is going to feed that chakra system. Detoxing is huge. Detoxing is huge when it comes to opening your pineal gland. But I'm going to share with you guys in a minute why I don't agree with all of these different methods in doing this and why. So detoxing is great. You do want to decalcify your pineal gland, because right now it's like hard as a rock if you haven't done any of this type of work. It's not malleable. When your pineal gland gets activated, when it is open, it's like more malleable and it's more smushy. And then it just starts going out further and further and further, and you're able to receive more and more information. So detoxing is great. Detoxing, when I say, adding in spirulina to your diet, adding in things that pull heavy metals, because heavy metals are what attracts to your pineal gland. Removing fluoride from your self-care, because what happens with fluorides is it attracts heavy metals. So and you can't get away from heavy metals, guys. They're everywhere. But if you're aware of that, then you could do what you need to do to combat that. But fluoride attracts heavy metals, and where does it all go? Right to your pineal gland. And the reason why a lot of people want to open their pineal gland, at least why I believe that it's important for you to open this, is because when your pineal gland is calcified and you have that fluoride in your system, you're so much easier to control, and you don't actually think or ask, these bigger questions. You don't question anything. So when your pineal gland is like clear, you're starting to actually question things around you, and just have a broader sense of awareness. So bringing in spirulina, removing anything that you can with heavy metals, like not using tinfoil, changing out your self-care products, right? How much toxins are on those? All these toxins build up into your pineal gland and everywhere else in your body, which leaves you more complacent, right? Which leaves you more like, I'm just going to follow the ways of society. I'm just going to stay at this job that I don't like until I die. And I'm going to save my joy for later. Oh my God, don't get me fired up. So detoxing is great. Adding in better foods is great. Sun gazing, right? You could do sun gazing in the morning. It has the different spectrums of light. And this has also been known to help people open up their pineal gland. Like EFT tapping, like telling your brain to open it up. I always tell my students in my Awaken program too, I have them clean it, energetically clean it. Pretend you have non-toxic Windex and you're like cleaning your eyeball, using different stones like amethyst, and having amethyst on your forehead. Imagining that eyeball opening up in the center of your brain. There's different techniques that you could do. And I could go on and on and on and on, and making sure you're not having fluoride in your water, making sure you're drinking reverse osmosis. These are all things that people suggest for you to open up your pineal gland. And I'm sure there's a million other techniques that I haven't brought up yet, right? Again, removing self-care products instead of shampoo. Maybe you're using baking soda, and instead of conditioner, maybe you're using coconut oil, or apple cider vinegar, rather. That's a really amazing conditioner. So you're removing so many toxins, and it starts showing up everywhere, right? Your body, your skin, but we're talking about your pineal gland today. But here's the problem. And this is why I am recording this podcast today, because here is the big issue. What it all comes down to, friends, is you don't know how to use it when you have it open. Okay, so now it's open. Now what, right? You have had this pineal gland your whole dang life. It's been in there, right? So one of my analogies that I love to share, so that you guys can wrap your head around what I'm talking about, is imagine a television, right? There's a TV. It's sitting there. It kind of works, right? Maybe it's a little staticky, but it turns on, it plugs in, right? So it exists. And then maybe put rabbit ears on it, and okay, so the picture becomes clearer, and you do all these detoxing things, and so the picture gets clearer and clearer, right? Dots per inch. But it was working all along, even when it wasn't detoxed, even when it wasn't open yet. You still have a pineal gland. It still is there, but you just don't know how to use it. Imagine having a TV with no remote, right? Back in the old days, we'd have to get up, but you have a TV, it would have reception, but you don't know how to change the channel. This is why I think it's a big problem with people that are out there thinking that something is going to happen after they detoxify their pineal gland, like something magical is going to happen. And maybe they do have a little more clarity, but they don't know how to use it. They don't know how to open their awareness to spirit. They don't know what they're doing out there, right? So you got to ask yourself too, like, what is the reason why you want to detoxify your pineal gland? Everybody's going to probably have a different reason. Is it so that you'll become psychic? Is it so that you'll have a greater awareness? Is it so that you could communicate with your spiritual team? Is it because you want to find a greater connection with spirit, with source, with God? So this is what's going to happen when you learn how to use it and you start exercising it. Because this is when these things are going to come. This is when your psychic abilities are going to come online. This is when your awareness shifts in a major, major way. This is when your connection with source shifts in a major, major way when you learn how to use it. This is another analogy that I have, right? And it's cute because I actually have a bicycle in my garage. So imagine you have a bicycle, but if you don't know how to use it, it's going to sit in your garage and you're not going to go anywhere. If you don't know how to use your pineal gland, you're not going to get very far in whatever the goals that you have. So I make you guys use it in my coaching programs, in my Awaken program. The minute you come into my program, I make you use it. And then I help guide you to hone into it. Okay? Because You can do the things that I ask you to do in the Awaken program, but nobody has ever asked you how to do it. And I was explaining to this person today that, okay, that's great. You're doing all these things. And I think it's great. I think self-development's amazing. But if you were to work with me, literally, I am going to help you see through time and space in the very first week. And you are going to blow your damn mind. And you are going to see or hear or feel or know what is behind, say, a closed door, or what is in the other room, in the other room over here. Nobody's ever asked you to do that. You're logically thinking, well, she's in her office. Maybe that's her bedroom, but you're just thinking that with your brain. You're not using your pineal gland, right? You're not using it because nobody's ever asked you to. So I make you use it. I help guide you to hone you into it, because a lot of people, they're using it, but it's like firing and misfiring. And so, like, for example, if I asked you, what's on the other side of this wall, I'm pointing for those of you guys that can't see me. And you weren't going over there. You were like maybe in my kitchen, which is the opposite direction, but I'm going to help guide you so that you realize, it's a unique experience, because everybody does it differently and everybody has a different experience when I ask them to use it. So I will help guide you and say, okay, you were near, but you weren't on the target. So here's your credit, right? Because I want you to trust and allow trust that you are getting information and allow it to come out of your mouth, even if you may feel like it's wrong when I tell you that this other room is not the kitchen, for example. So once you kind of start honing it in, then I make you use it over and over and over, just like you're exercising a muscle, because that's exactly what you're doing. And your muscle gets stronger and stronger. And then all of a sudden, your other abilities start coming online, because you're open to using this, because you're open to doing something you've never done and using different muscles you've never done. And not just by seeing behind what's a closed door, but also starting to tell me things about the surroundings of other people. Like, what do they do for a living? What is their career? What does spirit say that their career should be? Like, help find their lover, help guide them. Can you see inside them? Can you heal them? It's freaking amazing, right? And then I teach you to trust and allow, right? Shit gets fucking magical. It really does. So I want you guys, go ahead, go do the guided meditations, go do the EFT tapping, detox yourself. Yeah, you'll do a lot better than just opening your pineal gland by detoxing yourself. You raise your vibration, you'll have a lot more joy. Do these things. I'm not trying to discourage people that are doing these things to open their pineal gland. I think all self-development is amazing. I'm just letting you know what happens afterwards. Like, it's like the tip of the iceberg. Okay, you're doing this work, but what is it that you want to do once it's open? And why don't we start exercising so that you can actually use it to do those things, or to have that connection, or whatever it is that you're desiring. So I love all y'all. But if you're wanting to learn how to use it, then you're going to want to work with me inside the Awaken program or one-to-one mentorship. So I'm sending you guys all love. This is my take on what the real truth behind detoxing and opening up your third eye is all about. So I hope you guys share this with your friends and keep being amazing.